All right, so it's been a busy day in IT land today. As you can imagine, with the CrowdStrike debacle, Microsoft having issues or associated issues with the CrowdStrike debacle. And I've just been meaning to put together a video, so I thought this would be a good opportunity. Basically, what happened, I woke up this morning, woke up to a barrage of text messages, and emails, and WhatsApp from friends, family, anyone that knew who I was and what I did, asking me about this major computer outage. So panicked immediately, thought that our systems may have been impacted. That wasn't the case, fortunately. So no OMSIG customer was affected by this CrowdStrike issue. Ultimately, what it ended up being was that CrowdStrike, which is a major IT security, cybersecurity provider, think antivirus on steroids for enterprises, big, large corporations, they deployed an update. And when they deployed the update, it went to millions of machines, and these machines installed the update, and it crashed. And when it crashed, it caused Windows machines to blue screen. If you recall from back in the day, blue screen of death was kind of a pejorative for old Windows machines where they would just randomly crash, whether that be a driver update or something like that. So what ended up happening was it crashed. It forced these machines to go into blue screen mode, which is a diagnostic mode, and whoever is managing these machines, whether it be the end user or system admin, has to now go in there, go into safe mode, delete the key file that caused a problem, and reboot. Multiply that out by millions of machines, and requiring manual intervention, and now we have a major worldwide crisis on our hands. So just keep in mind, it was not a cyber attack. This was nothing malicious. It was pretty much just a mistake from CrowdStrike's developers, and there's going to be, I hate to say it, I think there'll be some heads to roll with this mistake. I mean, we see things like possibly an out-of-band patch being deployed, patches not going through the proper QA testing. So I was actually talking to a couple of other IT admins that I've been friends with for a long time, and they mentioned how for once it's not Microsoft's fault. Microsoft has a lot of problems that they work through. They're constantly modifying and creating and fixing things on the fly. This is not a Microsoft issue. Microsoft might actually be the victim in this case, but I mean, ultimately it was an application that has, quote, God mode privileges over the operating system, the Windows operating system. So this is why you're not seeing it on on Macs. Not to say that Macintosh and Mac OS, iOS platform is not vulnerable to this sort of thing, but they just don't have the footprint that Microsoft does with the Windows applications and Windows operating systems. So I know in the Azure world, so that's the Microsoft cloud world that we manage a lot of resources in, they have just a generic warning basically saying if you have virtual machines, keep in mind CrowdStrike may have brought down some machines or caused you some headaches. It's not us. So that was interesting, and I saw that during my morning sanity check, where I go through and I check the environments, and I just poke around to make sure everything's okay. Today, I obviously made a closer examination of what was going on in the environment, but yeah, that was pretty interesting. One of my admin friends, we're in a group chat, and he goes, "It's actually not Microsoft's fault this time, ironically. This was all caused by our number one competitor, CrowdStrike. I'm speculating here, but I believe we may have finally hit something extremely rare called blah, 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 hash collision." I don't think that's the case, but what he did say was that or some idiot classified Run DLL 32 as malware again. So I actually thought it was pretty funny because I'm more inclined to believe that this was a mistake. Having done this for so long and working with developers and on the DevOps side of things, accidents happen. It's not malicious. Which led me to a quote that I found from Napoleon, and I sent them this meme: "Never ascribe to malice that which can adequately be explained by incompetence." So I'm not saying these guys are incompetent. I'm just saying someone made a mistake. It probably was something that was done late in the testing cycle. Someone missed it, and then they pushed out those patches. Unfortunately, those patches broke a lot of machines. There's going to be a lot of manual intervention. So basically, people are going to have to boot into safe mode, delete whatever file it is that CrowdStrike says to delete, and then manually reboot, and then you're back to normal. Multiply that by millions of servers and workstations, and now we have a mess on our hands. So just keep that in mind in the back of your head that this was not a cybersecurity attack. This was more or less an accident or a mistake. Those things happen, especially when you're working 20 hours a day, 6-7 days a week, trying to pump out code, trying to test code, trying to QA code, and get it out there as quickly as possible. So I hate to say it, but we're probably going to see more of these things happen. We've already seen them in the past. This is just probably lending to recency bias. This is probably the biggest thing that we've seen lately. So that's probably going to come back on CrowdStrike at some point. It wouldn't surprise me to see CrowdStrike's upper executive team face the music. So yeah, bad day to be an IT admin.